You're listening to Podketeers.
Welcome to episode 370 of Podketeers. This week we celebrate Dole Whip Day. Kinda. Did you know that Disneyland cast members have rubber ducky races? And Air B&B is dressed up to look like one of our favorite attractions. Mel and Andrew tell us about their experience trying to get tickets for Oogie Boogie Bash. Plus, Disneyland celebrates its 66th birthday, and to celebrate, we finally had a chance to visit the park again. I'll tell you about that experience. Remember that if you want to join the conversation, you can connect with us on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. Just search for Podketeers. But we'd love for you to join our growing community over on Discord. If you're not a part of the Discord server, you can head over to podketeers.com or the blog post for this episode at podketeers.com/370 for an invite. Just click on it. It'll launch Discord. You'll be in no time. Before we kick off the episode, I'd like to take a moment to thank a very special group of people known as the FGP Squad, our podcast Fairy Godparents, because it's their support via Patreon that help make these episodes of Podketeers possible. As part of the FGP Squad family, you get some additional perks like exclusive discount codes for Podketeers gear, additional content like the Podketeers After Show, and access to our monthly happy hour calls. For more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, we invite you to check out podketeers.com/FGP. And as always, a super special thank you goes out to the FGP Squad for their continued support. So that's it. It's time to get this episode going. So here we go. Happy birthday, Disneyland. Here is episode 370 of Podketeers. Hey, y'all.
Hey.
Was that a jump scare? I mean, was it similar to the jump scare that may have gotten almost everyone watching Loki? Because we're going to talk about that later. I mean, depends on how much we get through in the regular show. But I know that we talking about Black Widow in the after show for sure. But we got to talk about Loki as well. I know we committed to talking about one of them. My brain ain't so good sometimes, but I know we're going to talk about them. So more on that later.
The thoughts will be out.
Yeah. Whether or not they'll make sense is a different story, but that's for you to decide.
It's been a whole, how long? A week? We're a week out? 2 weeks out? I don't even remember. And it's a week and a half, I guess, since we're recording. And I'm already forgetting things, but I will remember them, I'm sure, when we start talking about them.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing all of the Animal Avengers that you came up with.
The villains. The
villains, that's right.
The villains.
Yeah. Because, I mean, some of those were fun, and you had a couple when we last recorded, so...
I had a couple, now I have, I think, 13. So, they're coming up in the after show.
That's insane, yeah.
That's intense.
Wow.
Oh, gosh, it didn't happen.
Wow.
It didn't happen.
Hey.
Didn't happen in the whole series. No wows.
We're just filling in.
Dare they?
So sad I need a Dole Whip.
Hey, it's Dole Whip Day today.
Yes.
It's a Dole Whip's birthday today, too. We tried to celebrate. As many of you know, this weekend I made my return to Disneyland, and I'll be talking about that later. I did have an opportunity to go to the Tropical Hideaway and get a Dole Whip there because we wanted the plastic little boats that they had that were supposed to carry the entire dessert, but they did everyone a favor and they put them on a plate instead because it opens up kind of awkwardly. It's like hinged on one side, and I can't imagine wanting to wash that out in a sink in the bathroom anywhere. So I'm glad that they just kind of give you another receptacle. I'll be talking about some other stuff that I ended up getting later in the episode. But yeah, happy Dole Whip Day. We ordered from a local froyo place. And my intention was to, get the picture for the gram and everything. And I got it, and I instantly began to eat it, completely forgetting that it was meant for a photo. #influencer. But it was delicious.
I get that content.
Right? It was delicious. I got the Dole Whip flavor froyo with some coconut shavings on top, which is how I like to get my froyo. And it was quite delish. I'm glad I
Nice.
got it. Did you guys celebrate Dole Whip Day as well?
Celebrating right now. Woo!
Yeah.
I just found out about it 5 minutes ago, so maybe after this. Maybe I have a pineapple candy at home. I don't know.
Ooh.
Yeah. Or I got some Otter Pops. Is there one of those pineapple?
Ooh.
I don't know. We'll figure something out.
Dude, I like Otter Pops. I haven't had them in a
I
long
do.
time.
I bought a box of 100. So
Nice.
100. Yeah,
Nice.
100. So I gotta finish those off. But there's a lot of them.
That is awesome. You know what I ended up getting after your segment in the last after show? I went out and got some of those Snicker brownie things.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I ordered from Target. You know, Target has home delivery, just like many other places do, and I figured, you know what, let's place this order. But you know what the danger about placing orders at 3 a.m. is that sometimes you just don't know how much you're ordering till it already got ordered, and then you go to your door and you're like, thanks, and then they're like, no, you're welcome, and they're like walking back to their car, and you look down and there's like 4 bags, and then you like open one of those bags and there's 4 bags of Snickers in just one of those 4 bags, and then you're afraid to look in all of the other ones, and you just kind of pick them up and put them inside, and then, you know, wait till your wife realizes what you did. So I don't think she has, because they're all in the fridge. At some point, they will be enjoyed. But yeah, I had to taste it. After the glowing review that you gave it, and after seeing so much about it on the Discord server, I thought, you know what? I got to pull the trigger on this one. I got to do it.
Did you try one?
Not
Have
yet.
You tried any yet? Okay.
Not yet.
Not yet. So no review, no official review yet.
No. It was too early. I hadn't had breakfast when we got them, and then, believe it or not, I kind of forgot that I had them after that. So,
if I was closer, I'd come help you out with getting rid of them. But I think a 7-hour drive is a little far to get some candy.
I'm about ready to buy some dry ice and just ship you a whole bunch of bags, dude, because I don't think I can get through. I mean, look, honestly, yes, I can get through that many. Should I get through that many? Absolutely not.
Same for Halloween. They'll still be good, right?
I don't think they'll last till Halloween, though.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that's, you know what, you'll have to just suffer and eat them all, I think.
I guess it's technically for science. I could smash a whole bunch of them together to build up the Choco Smash bar, and then...
Yeah, make a big one. A quantum-sized Choco Smash.
Ah, now you're talking. All right,
you get a little magic bullet going and get some ice cream and put some of those in there, blend it up, make one of those fancy downtown Disney milkshakes, put a cookie on top or a slice of cake or whatever they do.
Have you guys had any of the milkshakes from Black Tap?
No.
No, not yet.
I always see them.
I had one similar at, we went to, the second time I went to Disney World, we also went to Universal, so we went to Toothsomes, and they have the big crazy shakes there. So
Nice.
we had those there. Good, very sweet.
I can
That's what I'm
imagine
afraid
it's
of.
just a giant cup of sugar.
Yeah, with a piece of cake on top.
Nice. That's the only way to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they want to add some savory, pop a couple chicken wings on there, pop half a burger or something, and
Is
that's
this a Bloody
complete
Mary?
meal.
I don't know what we're going on here.
I don't know. They just got to get creative. I think that if they offer...
You serve it on a basket of French fries.
Bacon.
Wow. Look at
That
these.
is... Look, I know you said that as a joke, but if you take a Frosty from Wendy's and some of their fries and you dip the fries into their Frosty and eat them...
No, it's good.
I
It's
know.
true.
That's what... I tried it, and it was delightful. So, if Black Tap happens to create, like, an ice cream boat sort of thing with French fries at the bottom, come on now.
It's like you know, you get the salsa with the chips all around. You put the milkshake in the middle, then the French fries all around.
Oh.
Black
You know,
Tap.
the bowl. Yeah.
Presentation.
What can we say except you're welcome. Watch, in 2 weeks, we're going to see it at Black Tap. They're going to be like, this
Right.
The French fry
thing
shake.
we've
Yeah.
been working
Brand
on for
new.
6 months now.
Great minds think alike.
Right?
Yeah.
Total pivot. since I went back to the park, I saw a video of something that I feel like I just want to be a part of at some point in my life, even though it's really open for cast members, and that is the rubber ducky race that happens at It's a Small World. Did you guys know about this thing?
No.
Yeah, I heard about it a couple years ago and then forgot about it and was reminded of it. You know when you get remembered of stuff?
Yeah,
That's
all
what
the
happened.
time.
Yeah.
You remember? I remember. You remember?
Yeah, I mean,
anyway, yeah.
it was pretty cool because they had a bunch of these ducks that cast members just decorated however they wanted. They dressed them up as Disney characters, Marvel characters. They dressed them up however they wanted, and then they just plopped a whole bunch of them into the flowing water of It's a Small World. And they just waited.
Aw.
They just waited to see what ducks made it to the other side.
That's
and
cool.
they had their first, second, and third place. I don't know what the cast members win outside of bragging rights. If you had to decorate a rubber duck for one of these races, or let's say that we had our own rubber duck race, which character or how would you decorate your rubber duck? Mel, let's start with you.
Oh, it would look like floating dragon, Maleficent dragon,
Oh,
That's good.
and I would add like
nice.
something with fire or something. Oh, I would
Nice.
totally do that.
Nice. Andrew, what about you?
It's got to be a solid duck for sure. He's got to have the little sign, little take heed sign, little
Nice.
hat, little tie, maybe a little Mara painted on the back or something. But yeah,
Nice.
solid duck for sure.
Larry, what about you?
Just straight creepy Howard the Duck. Just got some eyes on it.
Oh, that's
Get
a
all
great
white.
choice.
You
Get a
would.
little, was it like the older Howard the Duck? I think he had like a plaid look, maybe. I'm not
He has
sure.
like a tweed suit
Tweed
with
suit.
like a yeah or something.
Yeah. Creepy. Just put him in the water.
That would be an awesome duck, dude.
Yeah.
That'd take some time, but hopefully
Man.
it would
Now,
translate.
since Heyzen posed the question, I'm sure he's been contemplating this already. What would yours be?
I actually have. So I would want him to look like Gizmo Duck. And the reason I would do that is because I would add a little propeller and an engine underneath him so that he could like haul like duck butt, right? And
Right.
he would get across the water a lot faster. But who could say anything because it's Gizmo Duck. Like it's part of the tech. That's part of the suit.
Gizmo duck.
So
that thing is cool. No,
Isn't
for
it
real, it's
just-
cool.
no, it's Gizmo Duck.
Hey, it
So
works.
I don't know if that's allowed, but you know, I'd do it.
Better have those
Rain
cool.
blouse
Now it's
guy.
back in style. The shield sunglass look. I mean, that's like totally in right now.
yeah.
The '90s trend. But anyway,
You know what? I'm gonna start looking for a duck with those sunglasses on. I gotta do this. Gotta make me a little Gizmo rubber ducky. Unless one already exists, and I just have to add a little motor to it. I think that would be good.
You never know what's on Etsy. You can find
I
almost
know,
anything
that's
on
a
that
good
place.
one.
Right?
You're
point.
right. You are absolutely right. So I heard that actually somebody from the FGP Squad, Bill, sent me a message that there was
Bill!
this really cool Air B&B located in Fullerton. And I know this is a hard pivot from It's a Small World and Rubber Ducks, but it's just awesome. I've been thinking about this place ever since he sent me the message a couple of days ago. It is an Airbnb dressed up to look like the Haunted Mansion. Here's the description from the Airbnb site. It says, "Leave the world of the living behind and cross over, at least for a few nights, to this ghoulishly delightful haunted mansion, inspired and frightfully immersive retreat. You and your loved ones will encounter a plethora of HM replicas, ghostly illusions, and sights and sounds that will make you feel that you are truly spending the night in Disney's haunted mansion. Make final arrangements now. We've been dying to have you." Ooh, nice. Thank you. The photos look absolutely amazing.
I am drooling.
Yeah, the care that has been taken to decorate these rooms, the hallway. Oh,
The
oh,
dining room.
Yes.
Well, they have the busts, the
Gosh.
moving busts, the everything. Yeah.
I don't know how to describe this other than pure joy. I think it costs around $550 a night to stay there. I'm wondering if we could just go and get a tour of the place.
Right?
Well, it's up to 8 people, so we each split it. We got 4 of us plus all our significant others. We'll split it up 8 ways.
Mm-hmm.
You know what? We'll go for a night, hang out, take a bunch of pictures, and put it on that's for work.
Yeah.
And talk about the
Work
podcast
expense.
is for work. Yeah,
That's
it's a
true.
work expense.
Do we have a department that could expense that for us yet?
Yeah. Let me ask them. Hold on a second.
Just charges
All
you
right,
Disney
let me know.
time.
Let me know what they
yeah.
say.
They didn't pick up.
Oh man. Well, let me know. Keep me in the loop. Let me know how it
Okay.
goes, and then we'll figure it out from there.
We'll talk to Sherry over in accounting and see if her and Justin over in the finance department can get this all figured out for us before we make the leap and do it all. But I think they'll be able to do it.
I've talked to Sherry in accounting before, and she's always asking for paperwork, and she's always asking. She reminds me of somebody that I've talked to before and heard of, but I don't know. It's always asking for
I don't know.
paperwork.
She sounds like she's always watching you too.
Something
I
like
wanna-
that. It feels like she is. It feels like
She's really got to quit smoking. That's a real bad habit.
Oh, is that why she sounds like that?
Yeah.
Yeah, this house, man, I have to commend the owners because it's not just the rooms. I mean, even outside, they've done a really good job of adding just elements. Like they have the metal railing around their front door that looks like the one that surrounds the mansion. They've created a little pet cemetery around their front yard and around the backyard with a bunch of little tombstones of frogs and rabbits and dogs and all sorts of stuff. It is an absolutely amazing experience. I'm not kidding when I say that even if we can't stay there, I'm wondering if the owner would be willing to just let us go in and take some photos or kind of vlog about it or something like that. So,
Yeah, maybe we could have him on the show.
yeah.
Oh,
Hey, you out
that'd
there? Are
be
you
cool.
listening, owner of this house?
Yeah.
Come on the show. Give us a tour.
Tell us how long it took to do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the
Yeah.
real work right
Wow.
there, I think.
And more importantly, how did they go about getting like all of these props? Like, did
Oh,
they
yeah.
used to work for Disney? Did they make them? Did they, get somebody to make them for him? Because a lot of these replica, like the door frames, and just it looks so good. It really looks like there was like a rummage sale at the Haunted Mansion, and he's like, "I'll take that, and that."
Yep.
Yeah. Have you seen the? It reminds me of the Haunted Mansion bathroom account on Instagram. Does anybody follow that? No.
No.
There's a guy
No.
making a Haunted Mansion bathroom, and he's making his own. He shows the process and everything of making the door frames and the molds for all the wood carving type things and everything. It's fantastic. And finding like the replica like style chandeliers and all this stuff. Check out I believe it's just like HM bathroom or Haunted Mansion bathroom on Instagram. It's a really cool account.
Oh, I'm gonna go
Okay.
check that out.
Yeah.
That sounds cool.
That is awesome. All right, I wrote that down. Cool. So I guess we'll figure out a little bit more about this Haunted Mansion Airbnb, and hopefully maybe we can get the owner on. Maybe we can get a tour. I don't know, but we'll figure it out, and then we'll let you know what happens later on. So, Mel, speaking
Yeah.
of spooky things, I heard that you and maybe Andrew were trying to get tickets for Oogie Boogie Bash.
Yeah.
How did that go?
Where to begin? Well, actually, I don't know how long it took you, Andrew,
Mm-hmm.
but
Tell
let's
your
just-
story first, and I'll
All right.
I'll tell mine after.
All right. So, like any Disney fan, you're going to stand by your computer and you're going to, refresh. You're going to hit that website and you're going to wait, right? All right. So we're waiting, and 9 o'clock on the dot. Actually, I got in at 9:05, and I'm like, all right, it says I'm in line. Cool. Keep waiting. An hour, 2 hours. I got to run to the restroom. Run. Come back. You're still in line. All right, cool. And I actually got to talk to Heather. FGP Heather was telling us on Discord that she was also waiting as well. And I believe Adriana too. And so we're just chatting, just trying to figure out, okay, Did you get tickets? Are you close? You know, at this point, it was like 4 hours in. And I was kind of like at the point where, should I refresh? What do I do? Okay, I've stayed in line before. I didn't get anything. I've heard other people would refresh for other things. Maybe I should. I was almost like so close to saying, nah, I'm not going to do it. And I'm like, no, wait it out. Here comes lunch. Run, go make us a protein shake. Come back and stay on my computer. And we're just like holding on and just asking everybody, what are you guys doing? Are you guys okay? You know, just trying to see what's going on. And you know how we've learned that there's a ticket system, but nobody knew how many of us are going through or how this was happening. So here comes 6 hour mark, and this is 3 o'clock. And suddenly I hear Adriana gets tickets. And I'm like, that's awesome. That is awesome, you know, because that's the one thing you want to hear is good news like that. And I'm like, okay, hang in there, hang in there. I want to say 30 minutes later, I hear that Heather gets tickets. And I'm like, you go, girl. You know, that's awesome. I'm waiting about another maybe 20 minutes. I don't remember, 20 or 30 minutes. I finally see that I have a time limit of 56 minutes.
That's something.
It is exactly, exactly. And that's when we've got the first, I want to say that was around the first, no, it was 12. 12 o'clock, they were saying there was too many people, you know, so many people, it's a big wait, just FYI. And at 3, they were saying another message where it was kind of like, if you're in line right now, you are going to wait. This isn't going to be just an hour. It's going to be more. Like they were laying down the truth. And I'm like, okay, hold on there. And then slowly I see my time limit go from 52, 33, 13. And I'm like, screenshot. I don't care. This is exciting, whatever. And then I get to 2 minutes. And at the same time, I'm texting Jill. Because if anything, I was telling her, we're going. You know, we're going to go no matter what. One of us is going to get tickets. And we were both nervous. So here comes my chance. And I see the bar. And all of a sudden, I'm like, my screen is blank. What's going on? So I click on the browser, press enter. It gives me a screen. And then poof, I could order everything. Awesome. Put my information, get the date I want, yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Then, neither of my cards wanted to go in.
No.
Twice. And I'm like, Jill, this isn't working. I only have this much time, you know, because they only give you 10 minutes to buy your tickets and you're kicked out. You know, that's all it is. And they tell you the moment you get in line. So Jill saved us. And we ended up getting the tickets. It took 3 tries and we're going. So just imagine having to like, you know, you see the screen, you don't want it to change or anything. So I like literally, I'm only like 1, 2, 3, maybe 10 feet from my restroom. I ran. I didn't care.
Nice.
But yeah, so it seemed like all of us were getting tickets about 30 minutes apart, and we all waited around the same time. So again, I don't know how many were sold per hour. I have no clue, but it was awesome to hear that, hey, those who went for it got their tickets. So that was really cool.
That's cool. Andrew, how was your experience?
Yeah, so we did not order our tickets on the opening day. We did, I think, 2 days later, logged in, picked our date, paid, and then got the tickets.
Nice.
Really?
That's what I've been hearing. Yeah.
A minute and a half. It was like
Right.
nothing at all. And yeah, it was not a problem. The calendar, I think, like Halloween was sold out, and the 30th was sold out, and I think one of the other Saturdays was sold out the day we did it, but everything else was open. So they must have been having some real like website issues if they had. It seems like they have a good amount of tickets left if only a few days were sold out at the time.
Yeah.
So they must have been having a lot of issues. Because how long in total did you wait, Melissa? Was it like 6 hours or something?
6 hours and 40 minutes.
Wow. Yeah, I was
Yeah.
2 minutes.
Wow. Totally different experience.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I did see people posting on Twitter and Instagram that they were having difficulty, and I guess somebody reported that there was some kind of glitch that was going on with people trying to check out. And so maybe the credit card thing wasn't your fault, Melissa. I think it was just a glitch that wasn't allowing it to go through. So, I mean, I don't know. It's bad that you had to wait that long, but
But it
I'm
was
happy
fun.
that you got your tickets.
Right?
The
Yay.
excitement running back and forth between, different things that you were doing throughout the day, I think, kept you on your toes. But hey, you got your tickets, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I'm looking forward to hearing about your trip and hearing what the experience is like. I know a lot of people enjoy Oogie Boogie Bash a lot more than Mickey's Halloween Party. And I know that there was a bunch of stuff going on in Florida regarding tickets to their version of the Halloween party because of the hours and how many people were allowed and all sorts of stuff. But I'm glad that you're going here. I know it's been a long time. I'll talk about more about whether or not I'm going to go to Oogie Boogie Bash. But glad that you guys are doing it. It'll be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be interesting. I'm excited to see what happens in the next few months in the parks and everything leading up to when the party is, because we're going in September, so we'll be way ahead of. I think we're probably going like almost a month before Melissa's going.
Yeah.
We're going pretty early in September just with how our schedule's lined up, and those were the cheaper ones too, September ones.
Oh, nice.
But yeah, so it's gonna be fun.
What were the? Do you know how much they were for the 31st?
They were the highest price. I think that was what, 160.
Sounds about
something
right.
Or another. I think the lowest was like
169.
114 was the low. 169 is the high.
Yeah.
And there was like 4 tiers. I think we were on the second tier, which is like 120 something. We were going on a Sunday in September.
Nice.
Oh,
Nice.
interesting.
And we're thinking of we're still contemplating if we're going to get tickets for the park. We might take advantage of that, the California residents discount, the deal that's going on. Even if we went for 2 days instead of 3, it's still cheaper than getting 2-day tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It works out like that.
Yeah,
Especially if you're
So-
coming from a distance.
well,
Yeah.
and it's, I mean, and those run out September 30th. Is when that deal ends. So we'll have plenty of time to use them for our trip. So something we're contemplating. So maybe some more theme park stuff coming up. No more Disneyland stuff in September. Who knows? We'll see.
Right on. Well, I mean, I'll give you some of my stuff to film because over the weekend, I decided, I mean, you guys know, whenever I would go to the park, I had way too much stuff with me because I could never decide if I wanted to photograph, if I wanted to video, if I wanted to this, if I wanted to that. And over the last year, believe it or not, I've actually been selling off a lot of my gear. And I got to the point where I wanted to try to minimize the amount of stuff that I had, maybe just have smaller versions of some of the things that I used. One of the things that I replaced is I got one of the DJI Osmo, the OM4s for my phone, and this is to replace a much larger gimbal that I used to carry around with me. I got a couple of wireless microphones that you can, clip onto your lapel and everything, because I didn't know what I wanted to do or how I wanted to approach the park, because I know me, I'm neurotic about that stuff. So I guess we're going to talk about my park trip now. So
Okay.
before we do
Sure.
that, I want to let you know that this episode of Podketeers is brought to you by a fantastic group of folks known as the FGP Squad, or as we
FGP.
call them, our podcast, Fairy Godparents. If you want more information on how you can become part of the FGP Squad family, you can head over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you will find a link to our Patreon. And being a part of the FGP Squad gets you access to our monthly happy hour calls, additional content, the Podketeers after show on Patreon, discounts on Podketeers gear, all sorts of stuff. There's a special section in the Discord server as well for FGP Squad members. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out on Twitter, Instagram, or on Facebook. We'll be happy to answer any questions. And, of course, to all of the members of the FGP Squad, we just want to send a huge thank you for your continued support.
Thank you.
So, my Disneyland trip. I have to say, I don't know where to start. There's so much I want to say, and there's so many mixed emotions. And, I tried to approach it the way that you all pitched it to me. I know that when Larry first went, a couple months ago, or last month rather, was it 2 months now? Did you go in May or
June. It
in
was the
June,
beginning of
right?
June. Where his
Right.
It was
Birthday.
beginning of
First.
June? Yeah. I know that when you first talked about it, you said, don't take any pictures. Don't, just try to soak it in. And again, I totally wanted to do that again, but I'm so neurotic about taking photos and videos that I didn't know how I was going to handle that. I almost forced myself not to take any gear, and then I went out and got a DJI Osmo thing for my phone. So that didn't work out, obviously. But yeah, I mean, the going back to the park is something that I've been looking forward to for an extremely long amount of time. And we've had conversations off of the podcast about how I've been trying to be a little extra cautious about, how I protect myself and everything, because just health-wise, I haven't been great over the last couple of years. So I was definitely taking, the extra precautions and everything. And I thought, well, from the time that, we're at home, I'm going to try to take better care of myself. I did all sorts of stuff. I stopped drinking, alcohol about a year ago to try to help out with some of the issues that I had. I was trying to cut back on sweets. Obviously, Target says, no, you're not. But, I've been trying to take steps to try to better myself and to try to get to a point where I felt secure enough in my own health that when we went back to the park, that I would just be like good to go, because I've been a huge advocate for the vaccine. I believe in the science. I think it works. And I think that the only other hurdle when it comes to the vaccine is making sure that our kids are able to get it. And at that point, I think, I can rest a little easier going out and being a little
100%.
more open,
Yeah.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So with that said, going back to the park, I think was it was truly a really mixed bag of emotions for me, because on the way there, and even the days leading up to it, I've never been the type of person that had like anxiety attacks or anything like that. But I have to admit that there were moments where I would read stories of people that were vaccinated catching the Delta variant, or things going wrong, or the crowds were just too big, and I would have little anxiety attacks. And it was a strange feeling for me because, like I said, I haven't really been that type of person. I've never experienced that before until the pandemic. So it was a totally new experience. Yeah. And at first, I didn't really understand it. I didn't know what I was feeling exactly, because it was a new experience for me. And it started really like mid to late last year. And I think a lot of it also had to do with a lot of things that went on, and losing family and friends and all sorts of stuff in the last 2 years that just, I think, compounded on me as a person. And it just kind of all came bursting out at one point. But when my wife told me, when the park reopened and, Larry went and then you guys planned to go, I told my wife, you know what, I feel like we got to go back to the park. I miss the park. need that dose of happy. I realize that Disneyland, this is going to sound bad to some people and it's going to sound very familiar to others, but I realize that Disneyland definitely, I know I've said this before, but a lot of us do use Disneyland as a happy place, either to escape from the real world or to supplement what we have in the real world to give us that dopamine hit, right? To make us happy and to make us feel like there's a little more magic than sometimes there is in regular life. The good thing is that it was always there prior to the pandemic. The bad thing is that for me personally, I realized that I feel like I have some unresolved issues that I have to get help for because I was like, why do I need to rely on Disneyland so much, right? I shouldn't put it on the same level as what made me sad should equal happy. Like, it should just be a happy place for me. And that's what it was until I made the correlation. So leading up to our trip, I kept having moments where I didn't know if I was going to go the day of. Like, I was ready to just say, take one of our friends with you. I don't know if I'm going to be able to go. Call Mel and see if she wants to go with you that day. And after talking to my wife, she convinced me, let's go. You're going to be okay. You know, you're very good at protecting yourself. Just go and, you know, wrap yourself up like a mummy if you have to. But you do what you do in order to feel safe. And that's kind of what I did, right? I mean, I basically, my face looked like the damn Winter Soldier all day, which was difficult because it was hot, dude. It was blazing. So wearing all black like I do on a super hot day, wearing what was essentially the equivalent of 7 layers of mask on my face. But yeah, it was hot. I did take off my mask a couple of times to obviously rehydrate and also to eat lunch. So I didn't go without. I did take Mel's advice and I did hydrate and everything. So I did try to keep myself from passing out and having my wife have to deal with that. So there was that. So on the way there, I think I was in a weird, I don't want to call it a trance, but I feel like I was having this like weird experience where like I knew where I was going, and there was this huge part of me that was like this, like my inner child was like, oh my God, we're going back to Disneyland. Oh my God, we're going back to Disneyland. And at the same time, my brain was like, stop, what are you doing? Where are you going? Stop. Really, it was crazy because all day I kind of felt like that. Right, but we made it to the parking structure. First of all, we were gonna park in Toy Story because I heard that, you know, there's still no trams running, and I figured maybe I could just do the bus. That way, there's not a lot of walking. Because after having not done it for a while, we did anticipate not feeling great, especially after how you all told us you felt going back for the first time. We couldn't figure out if the buses were running, and we couldn't get a confirmation, and so we thought, okay, let's just do the parking structure. It is what it is. Let's just go back to the structure. So we did. We got to the structure. It probably took us a good 40 minutes to get into the structure because the lines were so long.
Wow.
When we were approaching the kiosk in order to get our receipt for the parking, I just had music playing in the background. My phone was on random, and Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult came on just as we were getting like into the past the turn. I was gonna call it the turnstile, past the kiosk for the parking, and I thought, that's an odd choice for you to throw at me right now, universe. Why would you do that? And then right after, Run with the Herd from The Good Dinosaur came on. It was like the next song right after, and that's one of the songs that I've always listened to when I go out walking, or, you know, when I was working out before, and it's just a really good feel-good song, especially for the moment in the film. And that came on next, and I was like, wait a second, okay, this is a good sign, right? Because it's like very heroic, and it's like, boom, move forward, run with the herd. And I was like, okay, we're doing this. So we go, we parked in the freaking itchy lot, like all the way in the back. It was ridiculous how far they put us. And so we had to walk all of that, make it to the security, and I have to say everything went super smooth in security. The way that they have it set up, you can like rent your strollers and you can rent the little buggies and everything underneath there. I thought that was super great, and the fact that you don't have to stand outside in the sun and you're underneath the structure, fantastic move. I commend them on that. So
what time did you get there, Heyzen?
We got there.
To see.
So we got there just shortly after 9, but then we didn't make it to the like actual park until close to 10. And then of course came the 17-hour walk to the front of the park.
Yeah.
Security, absolute breeze. I think we made it through security in maybe like 5 minutes. They were moving really quickly. They were really efficient. All of the security posts were open, so we made it through really quickly. At that point, it was just a matter of how fast we could walk to the front of the park. Honestly, it took us maybe a good 10 minutes to get there. I made sure to stretch the hammies and everything, before we started walking, so I didn't like pull a muscle. I didn't think that I was going to feel it as much as I did, but really early on, I started feeling the pull in my legs, thinking like, man, that's something I haven't done in a really long time. So make it to the front of the park. Even getting into the turnstiles of the park probably took us like 7 or 8 minutes. The lines were fairly long. They went past the track of the monorail, but they were moving really, really quickly. So it took us maybe like 7 minutes from the point we stood in line to the point we were in the park. And like inside, the anticipation was just like building and building, because the closer I got, like I could feel my heart racing, and I would look at my watch and it would tell me like, are you okay? Like your heart is racing right now. Are you okay? We finally get to the turnstile, and then I walk in, she scans it, she took my picture and everything for the ticket, and she said, welcome back, you're home. I was like, stop right now.
Oh, that's so sweet.
And like the turnstile, like it beeped. I walked inside, and I swear it felt like sparkles just started from my head and just kind of shined and like rained down my body the moment that I walked through the turnstiles and I saw the big floral Mickey. I heard all the familiar sounds, and I started to walk under the train tracks. I stopped and I looked at the sign, and I swear I almost lost it just looking at the sign. And I just kind of stared. I took a picture, and as I walked through, I can't begin to describe the feeling that I had. Sorry. Like walking through into Main Street, it felt like nothing was wrong for the first time in over a year.
I can relate to that. That's perfect.
Yeah, it was a lot. Yeah.
It was Disneyland's birthday. So, every time that they have a birthday celebration, they always have like a special button and all sorts of like food offerings and everything. So I knew that they were going to do the birthday cavalcade. So I told my wife, hey, let's go ask at City Hall if, what time the cavalcades are, so that I can, try to live stream it for the people that can't be here. And, maybe we can get some buttons that we can like send out to people or something. And they had like a big like rolling cart full of buttons, but it was like the graduation and celebrating and all sorts of the regular buttons. But apparently they didn't make one for the 66th birthday, which was strange, because the feeling in the park was just a regular Disney day. Like it really didn't feel like you were celebrating the park's birthday, and I don't know if that was by design. I don't know if it was, honestly, I don't know. But it felt more like a regular Disney day than it did like Disneyland's birthday, the way that it has on other July 17th, right? So we didn't get a button. They told us what time the cavalcades were. And we started walking around towards the Emporium. I stopped in front of the firehouse. I looked up at the lamp. I'm just thinking about it again. And I got emotional again. My wife said, look, I want to get some Mickey ears. Do you mind if we go to the Mad Hatter right there that's on Main Street? And as we were walking, I get to essentially the middle of Main Street.
Take a moment. You got this.
So I get to the middle of Main Street and I look down and I see the castle. Dude, I can't even get through this right now. I mean, I look down Main Street and I look at the castle, and I'm telling you, the exact same feeling of nothing being wrong, just like it just came over me. Like I felt, I think with a lot of the stuff that I've had to go through in the last 2 years, it put me like in a mental state of this is happy before everything happened. And we went and we got the Mickey ears. We started walking down Main Street, and we took a quick detour to get a locker because I knew I was going to buy a bunch of stuff that day. But we walked closer to the hub, and the closer that we got, the more I could feel my heart beating, and it was just racing the entire time. I mean, I wish I was better with words to explain to you and make it sound all flowery and poetic about how I felt on my day back, but like entering the park for the first time, looking down Main Street, and then standing in front of the castle, man, I've only ever felt like that, several other times in my life, that extreme joy that just takes over your body and it just overcomes you. It becomes you. And part of the reason that I was saying that it was a really mixed bag of emotions was because, like, in my heart, there was nothing but happiness, right? But in my brain, there was make sure you keep your distance, make sure that you're keeping yourself safe, make sure that you're doing this, make sure that you're doing that. And so it was this internal struggle of trying to shut that voice up and just saying, like, enjoy yourself throughout the day versus like overthinking things. And again, I realized a lot about myself that day, and I realized that the pandemic was much harder on me than I thought it was. I realized that I thought I was okay. I became a bouncing board for a lot of people, and I feel like I ended up internalizing a lot of that. And being there was almost like the release valve, being untightened, and everything just started to come out that day. Which is good, I think, because I feel like maybe I needed that. Maybe I needed that pressure release in order to feel better. But I also realized that, and this was at no fault of Disneyland, because I think Disney can't do much about keeping people safe, especially when there aren't any rules in place from the state or anything that they have to follow. Like when Larry went, it was different, right? They had all these state mandates in place that said you had to keep 6 feet apart. They had stickers on the ground. They had plexiglass up. They had all sorts of stuff. When I went, they had none of that anymore. And because I haven't felt healthy enough to venture off into the world, I didn't feel comfortable enough going like you guys did. You went without your mask and you felt great. You felt comfortable. And I want to get there. I want to get to the point where I'm comfortable enough and I feel healthy enough that I could just be like, all right, take the mask off. Let's do this. Again, I trust the science, and I want to make that clear. I trust the vaccine, and I know that it can save lives. I know that it can prevent you from getting super sick. I continue wearing a mask because I still have to care for people that can't get vaccinated, and I, health-wise, was not in a position to play with that. And I just want to make that clear. And now Disneyland, I think they did everything that they could, even now with all the stations that they had with the hand sanitizer, to try to get people to feel safe. There were instances where I think people didn't make me feel safe. They were more the guests that were there, but they're still following mobile ordering. They're still, doing what they can to keep people semi-distance when they're eating and everything. So on Disneyland side, I mean, if you're comfortable enough to go out in public, go for it, right? I think it's absolutely great if you can enjoy yourself the way that like Andrew and Mel did without their masks and everything. If you are apprehensive in any way, if you decide to go, mask yourself up, and just know that you might have moments that you're not going to feel safe. And I'll give you an example. So, Larry, I went to New Orleans Square to get those metal cups because they are absolutely rad. And I thought, I needs to have me one of those. So we went to go place the mobile order, and my wife went to go stand in line to pick them up. I'm sitting in front of the train station, going through Instagram, trying to figure out, like, oh, maybe I'll post this picture, because I took a whole bunch of pictures on my phone. And I'm trying to figure out, like, what am I going to post, right? Lady walks right in front of me. They had just picked up their drinks, sneezes all over me. All this snot and, like, spit is on my phone from her sneezing. And I just look up in terror, thinking, like, what the heck just happened right now? What just happened right now? So I took out, like, a hand sanitizer spray that I had in my backpack, wiped everything down, wiped my hands down, and try to move on with my life. But, it happened.
Sprayed your face, sprayed your mouth, sprayed your
Yeah,
ears.
my eyes, my nose, my mouth, everything, right?
Yeah.
So there were moments like that. There was one time where we were trying to ride Snow White, where this group of 3 girls were having a conversation, and one of them was mocking all of the people wearing masks, including me. And she said to her friends, I still don't understand why people are wearing these masks, considering that it's all fake. I haven't been vaccinated, and I've come to Disneyland 3 times already. It's not like they're checking or anything. And in my head, there was, like, an instant, like, I'm sorry, what? Like, if you can imagine cartoons when, like, the bulls...
Yeah.
When the bull is
Yeah.
shown, like, a red cloth or something, like, the smoke
Yeah.
that comes out of their ears and everything
Yep.
else, like, that was instantly me. And I
The
thought...
thermometer goes up and
Yeah, yeah. But at the same
Exactly.
time, I thought, was she also saying it just to troll everybody that was wearing the mask? Like was she being real, or was she trolling all of us just to get a reaction? I left it alone.
maybe she knew you were listening.
Yeah. I mean, at that point, I let it go. We got into the attraction, and I'll talk about all the sequence of attractions and everything. But again, there's going to be moments that if you're not fully comfortable, being out in public yet, take your mask, do what you got to do to protect yourself. But I don't want to say that I was okay with it, but part of the reason that I was... I guess I'll use the term, but I guess the reason I was okay with it is because after talking to other members of my family, they basically said, look, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it regardless of where you go. Even if you're masked up, if you go to the grocery store, you could catch it at the grocery store. You could walk outside to get the mail, and the mailman may have left a surprise for you floating around in the air, and maybe you get it that way. So in that context, I get it. But you could also get hit by a car. It doesn't mean I'm going to go stand in the middle of the street, right? So at least for the time being, I think I'm going to continue wearing a mask. I'm doing my best to feel more comfortable with not having to do it. But there's just a couple other things that, like once kids can get vaccinated, I think I'll feel much better and feel more open to just being without a mask in front of more people. But yeah, I mean, we got to the castle. And from there, we just decided, okay, well, the first character cavalcade is going to be happening really soon. Should we go to an attraction? Should we wait? We decided to wait. We got some food. Like, Lynette went to go get a pretzel, and we sat down and waited because it was like a good half an hour for the first cavalcade to happen. We sat down in the hub. I got some footage there that I think I'm going to put up on YouTube because it was a better video than what ended up on Instagram, on IGTV. So we did that. We went down to Main Street. So we chased the parade. We went down to Main Street, caught the video there. And then once that was over, we decided to start writing some attractions. Headed over to Big Thunder Mountain. That was the first thing that had a really, really low wait time. Everything was ranging between 35 minutes to just over an hour. We had missed the first Rise of the Resistance to try to get the boarding pass. We did not get it during the 7 o'clock run, so we had to wait again until noon for our second attempt. So while I was filming the cavalcade, Lynette was right next to me trying to get a boarding pass. Boom, she got it. And I thought, this is
Nice.
awesome, because I'm finally going to get a chance to do Rise of the Resistance. This is fantastic. So I figured, if I do nothing else, if I get to do Rise of the Resistance, and yes, that includes even Haunted Mansion, if I got to do Rise of the Resistance, I would have felt like my trip was worth it, because I've been waiting to get on that attraction for so long at this point.
That's
So-
how I felt the same trip.
Awesome.
I felt the same way because I hadn't been on it as well.
That's awesome. So we decided to look at all the attractions. We look and see that Big Thunder has like a 30-minute wait at this time, right? So we book it to Big Thunder. We stand in line. It was not a 30-minute wait. It was maybe between 15 to 20. And
Nice.
we got on.
Nice.
I decided to put some of the tech in place at that point, and I actually took the camera out and I recorded the roller coaster thing. I know that there's tons of footage of Big Thunder already everywhere, and I didn't need to do it, but there's a part of me that felt complete taking video and or photos for the first time at Disneyland in a really freaking long time. And so
Understandable.
yeah, so I take the video, get off Big Thunder, and like the first thing that comes to mind is like, remember dinosaurs? Like Baby Sinclair? Like I get off the ride, I'm like, again! And so we were trying to decide like what we were going to do next, because like some of the other attractions were kind of still like 20, 25 minutes or whatever the case was. And we decided to head over to Haunted Mansion, because there was a couple of things that I wanted to get. There was a limited time sipper, a Jack Skellington sipper that we wanted to get. And then we wanted to get the metal cups that were in the Mint Julep location that I wanted to make sure we got. There was also the boats for the Jungle Cruise that we wanted to get at Tropical Hideaway. So it was a shopping day. We were trying to find some stuff for our kids, and it was crazy. But at that point, we decided, Mansion is only like 20 minutes. Let's go to Mansion.
Score.
So everything else was at like 45, 50 minutes. Like Pirates was just over an hour at that point. And we thought, how this is happening with Mansion, I don't know. But we booked it to Mansion, right? So we're
Yep.
getting in line for Mansion, and the cast member that's at the front says, "Are you okay with stairs? Come this way. If you just want to do the stretching room, come this way." I was like, "No, I want to get on as quickly as possible. I'm good with stairs. Let's do the stairs." And so they send us off to the mausoleum. We go down the stairs. I take a picture with at least one of the portraits when they weren't ushering us through as quickly as possible. We get into the hall. You know, I see all of the new additions, and it looks fantastic. Board the Doom Buggy, and I'm like, oh my God, it's happening. 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 And I'm super excited, right? So we get into the mansion, and at this point, I don't have anything. I put my cameras away. I put my phone away. I have nothing. I thought, okay, I am going to follow what all three of you said. I'm going to try to enjoy this one. No cameras. Soak it in. Here we go. Let's do this. And so the attraction begins. Ooh, hallway. Oh, it felt so nice seeing the floating candle. We're going into the observatory, and then we get stuck in the hallway, staring at a door. I guess because they were, doing wheelchair access, so they had to stop the attraction for a little bit. So we wait a little bit, and then we kind of make it to Leota. Everything so far looks so much brighter, looks so much better. The new lights that they added, they nailed it. That hallway looks amazing. I had no idea, by the way, that there was a door next to the 13th hour clock. To the left of it, there is a door there that I had never seen before because it wasn't ever lit. And for the first time, I saw this door, and I thought, I just learned something new about the mansion. This is amazing. So then we make it into Leota. Oh, so much brighter, so pretty. It looks so good. I was in awe at how glowy everything was. It looked a lot more spooky. I loved it. Like the addition of black lights and the new paint jobs that everything had. I don't know what they did. They moved the spell book, and that kind of bothered me a little bit, but whatever. We'll get past that. So we go around Leota, and we make it to the ballroom. And I'm looking down. Everything just looks great. It doesn't look like they made many additions to this area other than kind of spruce it up a bit. But I did see a lot more ghosts flying out of the pipe organ. Something that I haven't seen as bright as they were this time around in a very long time, if ever. So I have to tell you that all of the enhancements and all of the additional lighting, especially some of the new lighting that they did have in the ballroom, I think is going to help the Haunted Mansion holiday stuff so much more. I think the Haunted Mansion holiday stuff is going to look so cool this year. We make it into the attic, so many more lights, a lot of the things in the attic, you could see them for the first time, even the stuff in the back. I thought, why is my camera put away? And I thought, wait, because I'm enjoying this, I can't do any pictures. Don't do it. I enjoy the attic. The bride still looks like the bride. They didn't do nothing to that one. They still waiting to get fixed. But then we make it to Hattie. And I'm like, yo, they lit you up a little more, bro. Because he had a lot more lights around him. The attic, the rooftop looked so much better. It was nicely lit. There was at least one point in the effect that I thought maybe they overlit it a little bit. But overall, it just looked amazing. Fall out of the attic. We're falling backwards. And then we make it to Silas. And he's a little further in. But I think it just helped because the way that he was lit now, kind of the way that you turned, only like half of his face was lit, and it made it look like he was like peeking through a little more afraid. So I don't know if that was on purpose, but if it was, oof, amazing detail. Perfect. Make it into the graveyard, and oh, loud. It was gorgeous.
Wow.
There's a guy on TikTok that I follow. His catchphrase is gorgeous. And that's exactly how I felt going through the mansion in the graveyard. Everything was so brightly lit. Everything was these beautiful blues and purples, and all of the characters just popped out of the scene. It looks like they added stuff in the background, like trees and everything, so that you couldn't see the walls and the ceiling that you could see before. In the mausoleum, like, it just, I can still see it in my head. It was beautiful. Mm-hmm. Make it through. The hitchhiking ghosts a lot brighter than they used to be. It looks like they got a little sprucing up as well. We get off of the attraction, and I felt complete because now I knew I was going to get on Rise and I got on Haunted Mansion. So now I'm like, oh my God, like this is fantastic. This feels great. So we get off of the mansion, and I'll tell you the story in the after show, but we get off and a cast member is outside. So quick shout out to Kyle, because Kyle gave us a little extra Disney magic. We got to ride again.
Nice.
And so back to back, got to ride the mansion. This time he said, you want to do stretching room or you want to do like the stairs? So I was like, let's do the stretching room. So we did the stretching room. So I got the full experience the second time around. We were next in line, didn't have to stand in the 1 hour line in the sun. Sorry for everybody that did at that point. Got to experience it again, got off, and then we thought, okay, next attraction, or should we eat lunch? I mean, I was feeling, a little off. I felt like I needed to eat already. And so we took a break. We got some stuff to drink. That's when we went to go get the mint juleps, and some lady tried to, kill me by sneezing all over me. I made it through at that point, so thankfully still here. Walked back to the lockers to drop off the cups and the Jack Skellington sippers that we got. I ended up getting a couple because I wanted to have an extra one to possibly auction off for our next Teamboat Willie event, because really soon we're going to be doing Walk for Hope in support of women's cancers, and I wanted to have a couple of items ready to go for that. So I bought an extra Jack Sipper, and we're going to have that up for auction very soon. So keep an eye on Instagram. All the details will be on there. So we get that. We thought about doing like Winnie the Pooh and all sorts of other stuff, but instead we decided to just walk around, just try to enjoy the park, sit down in a couple of different places, and that's what we did. We didn't go really at all into Tomorrowland. We kind of sat around and listened to the sounds and people watched for a little bit. It also had to do with the fact that it didn't feel great walking around for so long after having not done it in over a year, at least not to that capacity. So yeah, we definitely had to take breaks, and so we did that. Try to stay hydrated. Waited a little bit, and then we said, okay, well, before we actually go get our real food, because all we had was like drinks and everything, we decided to get some like pizza and some stuff from like Red Rose Tavern. But before we did that, we placed our mobile order, and then we went to Snow White, because it was the other attraction that I know got really plussed up that I wanted to see. Oh, man.
Yep.
Such a great job. All of the projections, all of the lighting, all of the painting, Imagineering. Oh, wow. It looks so good. Look, I'm going to say something that not a lot of people are going to like, and it's going to sound a little controversial to some, but they did a better job plussing this one than they did with Alice. I'm sorry, but they did. Okay, this just looks so much better than what they did to Alice. And Alice looked great when they when they plussed it up. Okay, so we did Alice. We went and got our food. By the time that we ate, it was almost time for our boarding pass. And so we thought, okay, well, let's go to Galaxy's Edge. We'll walk around there. We'll sit around, maybe watch the Kylo Ren show or something. Lynette wanted some blue milk. We went shopping for a little bit, trying to find some stuff for the boys. And finally, the time came. We got the alert that the boarding pass was ready. And so we head over to Rise of the Resistance. We get into the attraction. The entire queue, stunning. I love the waterfall. I love the sounds. I love just how they built the entire thing up. You're walking through the queue. You see the 16th wonder of the universe or the galaxy, the backside of alien water. Then you walk through the queue. They have all sorts of cool tech everywhere. We make it to the waiting room.
Benches built in.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yes.
Point out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Lots of benches.
There are
the
a lot of benches. And I think
like
that
the
if there
benches.
was a line, it would have been great, because standing around, you know, it definitely helps when you have all those benches. Thankfully, we didn't have to, because we were just walking pretty much all the way through into the holding room before you get into the attraction. We see the little pre-show, BB-8, Ray, they do their whole thing. Oh, man, the excitement. My excitement level is like at like 200 out of 11 at this point, right? So we make it out of the pre-show. We make it into the vehicle. And at this point, I'm like, I have to get video of this. Like, I can't not get video of this. So I didn't even set up the stupid gimbal. Like, I'm like hand holding the phone the entire time. Like, my arm hurt from like holding it up the entire time. We do like the, you know, when you get caught and everything, you're on the ship and blah, blah, blah. Like, they take you on board, and then we entered the room with all of the troopers. And holy, I have to just... Woo!
Yep.
That room was phenomenal. Like, just entering that room, the way that they set it up, you kind of look at the big screens in the background, and it looks like you're in space, and I almost cursed right now. They did a great job of just decorating that area. Like, all the pictures that I've seen on Instagram and all the videos did none of it justice. Like, seeing it in person is the way to go with that room. Yes, all the yes for that room. So we get in, we get onto the attraction, and everything I think was working, Andrew. I'll show you the video soon, but everything, like the Kylo's lightsaber, Kylo, like all of the things I think were working from what I remember seeing in the video.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and we got off of the attraction, and like Lynette and I just look at each other like, oh my God. Oh my God. Again. Right? And I mean, by this point, there is no again, because there's no other boarding pass. Like, you just have to come back another day. But
You could get one of the VIP tours.
oh, I guess you
Yeah.
could, right? I guess you could.
Sorry.
Huh. Pro tip: if you
Yeah,
want to get to the
right.
front, pay the several $100s for one of the VIP tours.
That's the only way.
There's your fast pass. so we get off of Rise. By then, before we got on Rise, I wasn't feeling well. Like I was starting to feel like some of the effects of walking around a lot and everything. And I thought, okay, I'm gonna try to live through this. We're here, we're in the moment. Let's just try to get through it. But by the time we got off Rise, we walked around, we did some more shopping, and by then it really hit me. And I thought, okay, I need to sit down for a while, or we need to start thinking about heading home already because I'm just not feeling great. So we decided to finalize all of our shopping. We tried to get on Jungle Cruise because we wanted to see all of the new stuff that they added. But by the time that we got to Adventureland after Rise, the wait was like over an hour for the Jungle Cruise.
Wow.
And then on top of that, the wait to get into the Tropical Hideaway just for us to get the little boats took us over an hour. So we decided to not
Oh
ride
my
Jungle
gosh.
Cruise
Man.
because it took us forever to get into Tropical Hideaway. And after that, I said I can't stand around anymore. Like I'm done. If we walk anymore, I'm not going to be able to walk to the car because I knew that we still had to walk back to the parking structure. By then it was like 7:30ish though, and the park was going to close at 10 or 9 or something. We didn't get a chance to ride Pirates because every time that we checked Pirates, it was also 50 minutes plus to get on the attraction. And we wanted to do Indy. That was also really long, so Lynette was disappointed we didn't get a chance to do Indy. But overall, I don't know. I left that day, although I had moments where I felt like I was having these like micro panic attacks because of situations, and there was times that I've never been a really claustrophobic person, but there were times where I felt really anxious about having so many people so close to me at one time. I have to admit that I had so much fun. I mean, whenever I could set aside and separate myself from how I was feeling, how mentally I felt that, I kept telling myself, that I was ready, and I was trying to convince myself and psych myself up. Obviously, I wasn't fully ready because I don't think I would have had those struggles throughout the day fighting with myself, but overall, I think I was able to overcome most of it. I think I was able to have fun. It was absolutely an amazing experience. Even now, I just think of how I felt walking down Main Street and just how I felt walking into the turnstiles and hearing all the sounds. And it was just magical. I mean, I know it sounds cliche to use the word magical when it comes to a Disney experience, but it made me feel, like I said, like things were just close to as normal as they can be again. And because let's face it, it's not normal. I don't think we're ever fully going to get to how we were before things went south last year. I think we're going to always deal with stuff like this in one way or another. It's just a matter of adjusting, how we live our life and, being as careful as we can, getting vaccinated, all that stuff. But man, I'm so glad that I decided to still go, because even the morning of, I was ready to call the audible and say, call Mel and see if she'll go with you today. But man, I'm so glad that I just said, screw it, let's do this, and that I went. I don't think I'm fully ready to jump into humaning again on a normal basis, but I think this was a really good step, because some people are like, I'm going to the movies. Like, how many people were there? 6 people, right, Andrew? Like, the whole theater was like, you and 6 people. And I'm all like, oh, yeah? Hold my drink. Tens of thousands of people around me. So, do it big or go home, I guess.
Baby steps.
Yeah, first
Do
step
what
is
you're
always the
comfortable with.
hardest.
Talk
Yeah.
about baby steps, right? That
Right.
was the
Baby
equivalent
steps,
of like,
ibuprofen
oh, you don't know how to
steps.
swim? Here's the deep end for you. Learn.
push.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, now you just got to start. Now you got to start endurance training. So next time you go, you can get the longer days and start.
Dude, for
Walking,
real.
walking.
I'm
Pounding
so
those
glad.
ibuprofen.
Yeah, I'm so glad that we took your advice and we had some ibuprofen with us, because it certainly helped with continuing to be able to walk during the day. I'm telling you, especially yesterday and even today, like, my hammies are sore, dude. They're burning.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, what did you do? How dare you treat us like this? Haven't we been good to you? And no, they have not. Yeah. It was yeah.
You had fun and you learned something along the way.
Yeah.
I learned stuff
Something
about myself.
About yourself.
Yeah. Learned stuff about myself. Whether it's good or bad, call it whatever, but
It's something.
again, I didn't think that I was struggling as much with everything going on until getting ready to go to the park, but I'm glad that I'm past it. I'm not exactly ready to go like next weekend again, but I am prepared to try to schedule another day to go, but this time to DCA, to head over to Avengers Campus and everything, and I'm ready.
That's good.
Yay.
There was magic. You said it. Even
Yeah.
though I don't think it's cliche.
No.
If there's tell me something in the world that when you walk in gets you that much emotion, and then I'll say, what did you feel? You probably felt magic. So there you go. I don't think it's cliche at all, and I'm glad that you had that moment at least, because that's the will inside of you that'll keep you going for the next thing. It's not even something you have more passion about, if you ask me, is Marvel. So yeah, we'd love to see you get to DCA next. That's the goal.
Yeah, that's the goal. I'm hoping to do that soon. So I'll keep you guys posted on when we get tickets for the next time that we go. But it's definitely
I don't know
coming.
if you'll have that same. Yeah. I don't know if you'll have that same feeling walking through and seeing Carthay Circle. I don't know if that just brings the same emotion. Maybe it's when you walk in and see
Oswald.
Loki, or walk into Avengers Campus and see Thor or something.
There you
No,
go.
when
Maybe
I
just
see the
plan to go,
giant,
like-
when I see the giant arc reactor on the floor,
Arc
I might just get
reactor.
down on my knees and
That's
start
right.
kissing the damn thing. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah.
There
At
you
night.
go. That might
That's
you
what I
might
was
learn
gonna say.
something
At
else
night.
about yourself that time.
Yeah, that one might be more disturbing though. Well, that was my Disneyland report. Definitely not as fluffy and as fully happy as yours was. Definitely a much different experience for me overall. But like you said, Larry, the magic was there. It's definitely something I'm gonna hold very close to my heart for a long time, and it is gonna keep me going at least until the next time that we can head down to the park. And to anybody listening that has been apprehensive to do anything, I guess we all have to take a step at some point. I didn't realize that I was struggling so much with it. I've always been a very extroverted person, and I've always been, the first person to get into a group of people and just start chatting and, whatever. And I don't know. I think this last year just, I don't want to say that it fully changed me. I don't think it really did, because ultimately I still want to hang out with all of my friends. I still want us to all be able to get together and hang out and have a drink or whatever at some point. But it did, I think, mess with my brain, and now that's just something that I have to work at getting past in order to feel more comfortable, just getting together with anybody at this point. Because, again, I want to be clear. I trust the science, but my brain is the one holding me back right now. And that's just something that I'm going to have to deal with somehow and maybe get some help for it. I don't know.
Like you said, once the kids can get it, you think there'll be a threshold where once they get it, I know you'll feel more confident.
Yeah.
You'll feel more comfortable.
Definitely.
I'm sure of it.
Definitely.
And it's coming at least for one of them.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Yeah.
both of them soon by the end of the year. That would be
Crossing
wonderful.
my fingers. Crossing my fingers that we can do Christmas in the parks again with both of them vaccinated.
Woohoo! Picture in
that's
front of the
the goal
tree.
right
Send
now.
it out as a Christmas card.
Ah, for real. Ah, man, I can't even begin to tell you how much I would love that right now. So that's it. That's going to wrap it up. Any closing words before
Cue
we
that music.
put this baby to bed? Nope. All right. That's it.
Nope.
FGP Squad, we'll see you on the other side of the music. We'll see you over on Patreon for the after show. Everyone else, if you are interested in the after show, make sure to head over to podketeers.com/FGP for more information. There you'll find a link for Patreon in case that you want to sign up. And that's it. Until next time, keep dreaming, keep moving forward, and always remember to pass on the magic. Have a fantastic week, everyone.
Bye.
See ya.
For all time, always.